All right, Gary Cannalte's here now, Beyond the Barometer, and growing season officially over here in southern Wisconsin.
Yeah, a couple nights ago we dropped to 29 degrees, so that was
at the airport.
That was at the airport. I got to point that out because not everybody lives at the airport, but that's what we go by, at least for the official records for Madison. But you know, it's interesting to see how our growing season, or basically the time from the last frost or last 32-degree temperature in the spring to the first 32-degree temperature in the fall, has changed. So that's the subject of today's Beyond the Barometer. Now, as we take a look at some information from our friends over at Climate Central, here in Madison, the date of the last, or the first frost in the fall has increased by 17 days since the beginning of since 1970. So that's pretty significant.
Oh, that's a lot.
So it's showing that the date that the growing season is expanding into the fall. Now, if you take a look at the growing season, this is across the United States in general. Notice after 1970 how those numbers start to go apart. So the date of the last frost in the spring is now about 7 days earlier, and the date of the first frost in the fall is about 7 days later. So about 2 weeks difference since 1970. If you look at Madison in general here, our growing season from the date of the last frost in the spring to the first one in the fall has increased by 31 days since 1970. That is pretty significant because the plants stay around longer, pollen stays around longer, so those with allergies are affected more. I was just taking a look at some of the numbers here, and you can see this year our last frost in the spring was on the 26th of April. The first one in the fall was a couple days ago on the 17th. So we had 174-day growing season. Now, over the last 5 years, you can see those numbers have been pretty consistent. 2020 was a little shorter season, but if you look at the records, the shortest growing season was 107 days. That was in 1964. We've been as long as 186 days in 1943 and 1944. But the median, about where half of the seasons are above it or below it, is 150 days. And notice this year, 174 days. So that is almost a month difference from what we normally would expect here. So that's pretty significant, thanks to climate change.
And we start to plant other plants too, because it's
right. Different plants are,
green areas.
yeah, they have a longer growing season, so that affects a lot of different things. But especially the pollen and allergies. A lot of people are complaining about allergies lasting longer in the fall.
You're right. That is significant.
Yeah.
All right, Gary. Thank you. Interesting.
Thanks, Gary.